Hey guys, we should be live here today. It's Sunday, November 20th, getting close to Thanksgiving here, 2022. Thanksgiving in a few days. I'm sure you guys have everything ready for it by now. We're doing the weekly outlook for the week of 11/21. Okay, so this is the weekly outlook for the coming week here. This is where I go over the 28 Forex pairs. I don't go over all of them, obviously, on this weekly outlook, but what I did last night was I went through all 28 pairs and I checked for the higher time frame trend. So I checked the daily trend. So I like to trade with the higher time frame trend. This is our community smart money strategy. So this is a smart money strategy that we're using here, where we're trying to follow in the footsteps of the banks and the large institutions, right? They manipulate the markets on a daily basis. We're trying to look for their footprints, and so that we can determine which way they're going to move price based on what they're doing. This is the weekly outlook for that. And I've gone through the pairs. And so like I was saying, I like to trade with the higher time frame trend. So I check the daily trend, and then I like to get a confirmation on the 4-hour trend as well. As long as the 4-hour trend is not completely disagreeing with the daily trend, then I will mark up the pair with a red or a blue flag. So the red flag means that we're going to be looking for sales. So I've determined that the higher time frame trend is bearish, or the trend bias, I should say, which I'll explain in a second, is bearish. And the blue flags mean that the higher time frame trend is bullish. And then what we do is we look for a 4-hour area of interest on the chart, which is normally a consolidation area with a banker candle, a 4-hour banker candle. We call it the banker candle because that's usually the candle that the banks use to manipulate the market. So we look for that 4-hour area. If all the 4-hour candles are already mitigated, which you'll see a lot of that this week. Well, first of all, let me say we look for a 4-hour area of interest, and then if that, we set a trading alert, we set an alert there on Trading View, and then once those alerts go off during the week, then I go live in my group, the Forex Smart Money Trading Academy group. So if you're not a member of this group, make sure you send me a message so that I can send you the link to join. And when I do send you that link, make sure you answer the questions, because if you don't answer the questions, I have a system that just automatically declines your membership. So you have to answer the questions, or at least make an attempt to answer the questions. So make sure you're a member of this group here so that you can come in here during the week and see the weekly, as I go through the trade alerts as they come out. Like these were the trade alerts for 11/17, right? So I did a live session there. And then at the end of the week, I do a summary where I go back over all the trade alerts that came out, and I tell you how they would have came out. And last week here, we would have 2 wins and no losses for a total gain of 6 to 8% on our trading account. And I was able to take one of those winning trades for a gain of 4% on my trading account. So I do this every week like this. And then I come on my timeline live on Sunday, and I do the weekly outlook, try to get more people to see it. And then hopefully, if you're interested, you can join the group here so that you can see the live sessions, get notifications of the live sessions on a daily basis when the alerts come out. So that's basically what we're doing here. We're marking up the charts, the 4-hour charts, looking for that 4-hour area of interest. And then once it's hit, we drop down to the 1-hour chart and look for confirmation. Okay. And the confirmations are all listed here under files in the group. You'll see here the Smart Money Trading Plan rules right here. This is what you want to download to your computer and read through that so that you know what I'm talking about as I go through here. Now, if you haven't got your free week of training yet, then make sure you get with me so I can get you set up for that starting tomorrow. The experts on our community go live every Monday through Friday, although with this week being Thanksgiving, they may take a couple days off, but normally they're live every Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern time. And if you can't make the live sessions, I'll give you access to the recordings so that you can watch those every day as after the fact as well. but make sure you get with me so I can get you set up for that starting tomorrow. And if you've already had your free week, but you didn't get to take advantage of it, or you just didn't understand it, and you need another one, let me know, and I'll certainly get you another one. So now, if all of the 4-hour candles are already mitigated, meaning that the banks have already came back to those areas and gotten out of their positions, right? Then we drop down to the 1-hour sometimes, and we'll look for candles there. So that happened a lot this week. So you'll see that as I go through the pairs here. And when we mark up the 1-hour area, then once that alert goes off, we may look for a confirmation on the 1-hour, or we may drop down to the 30-minute as well to look for a confirmation. So that's the only difference there when we pick a 1-hour area. So the first pair here marked as AUDCHF, and let me just show you what I do with each pair. I go into my MT4 because I'm able to zoom out easier in MT4 to actually look at the trend. And I want to look at the daily trend. And I'm looking at the trend bias here. So you can see that this was very bullish here. We had a bearish run down here. It got bullish again. And then the most recent activity, so the bias on this is definitely bearish. You can see this move down, right? We have a pretty significant break of structure right here on the way down. We probably have some 2x2s here showing us that the trend is about to change as well. So the bias on this is bearish. Okay, and that's what I look for. I go through all 28 pairs and I look for this. Like I'm saying, now when I drop down to the 4-hour, you know, that's kind of bearish as well. So there's nothing there jumping out at me saying, hey, you know what? The 4-hour is really bullish. I don't think we should trade this pair, because if I think that that's the case, then I just won't trade this pair this week. Now, if we would have came here and we would have been like maybe just at this candle right here, I would say, well, you know what? It looks like this has been, the bias has been pretty bullish, so I'm probably going to stay away from this. But what happened here, we had this further price action here, which came back down, right? And so we have a couple 2x2s here on the way down, which are just basically, we get a break of structure here, a pullback, and then another break of structure here. So right now, this isn't jumping out at me saying, hey, this looks kind of, the bias on this looks kind of bullish. I wouldn't trade this pair. So I still see this as a confirmation of the bearish higher time frame trend. So with that in mind, we've given the red flag here to AUDCHF. So we come onto the 4-hour chart here in trading view, and we try to find a 4-hour banker candle that hasn't been mitigated yet. So we have this 4-hour banker candle right here, which price came down, and then the wicks came back up and already came into this area. The same thing here happened, right? It's basically the same area. Okay, so right here, we have the same situation with this banker candle, where these wicks here came back up and they already touched that. So our next 4-hour candle is actually up in this area here. But when we drop down to the 1-hour chart on this, we're able to find this nice 1-hour banker candle. It has a nice engulfing candle after it. So it's a really nice candle here. And, you know, we're able to find it right here, and it's on the 1-hour chart. The only thing about this is that, let's see here. So we do get a break of structure, so that's good. We're looking for sells. So we want this to break structure, in which it breaks right here, break structure again. So this is the 1-hour area that we marked up here. So we have both of these areas marked up. And so if the alert goes off, we'll come into trading view here, and we'll be able to see if it's the 1-hour candle or if it's the 4-hour candle. Obviously, more than likely, it's going to be the 1-hour candle first. And what we're looking for here, guys, we're just looking for this to flag up. We want this to flag up, the price action to flag up to our area of interest, right? We don't want to see impulsive price move straight up into that area. We want it to flag up into the area. So that's kind of what we're looking for there. So that's AUD-CHF. The next one is AUD-JPY. And I'm just going to show you a couple of these in MT4 so that you know what I'm looking for here. Again, AUD-JPY is bullish. So if we look at the daily chart here on AUD-JPY, you can see that the trend bias right now is very bullish, right? We have higher highs being made here, right? 1, 2, 3 higher highs, and there's really no lower lows being made. So this is definitely very bullish. It's been very bullish for a while. And if we drop down to the 4-hour, right, we just kind of see a consolidation here. So we see this bullish price action here, and then it just kind of it gets kind of wonky here, and it kind of just dicks around, I like to say, excuse my language, but price just kind of dicks around here. So it comes down, you know, it makes a lower low, it makes a higher high, another higher high, and then it comes down, breaks some structure on the way down. So it's kind of wonky. And so there's nothing there. And we actually have this higher high being made last here. So there's nothing here that tells us that this 4-hour may possibly be getting ready to turn bearish. So we have the daily, which is definitely, that's what we focus on first. That's definitely bullish. And the 4-hour isn't contradicting that at all. It's actually kind of confirming it. So that we know that we can just look for long positions. We just want to take buys on AUD-JPY this week, right? So we want to look for a 4-hour area of interest that this can come down to and react, right? By react, that means it can move either way. The banks can decide to go either way once they come in, because there are other areas that they may want to mitigate, or they may want to bring price down to. So right here, we have a 4-hour candle marked up down here, okay? So the issue here is with this price action here, we don't kind of like this area here. We don't have, we got a kind of a break of structure right here, but we selected this area down here because you have this consolidation. You have this red candle here, which is the last down candle before the up move, and you have that next candle is a big engulfing candle moving up. So this is our 4-hour area, but we also dropped down to the 1-hour chart, and we found this nice consolidation area here on the 1-hour, right? And we found this banker candle right here that hasn't been hit yet. So we have 2 candles marked up there as well. So we have 2 alerts marked up. One with the 1-hour candle, one with the 4-hour candle. So we'll see how those goes. The next one's AUD-JPY. I'm sorry, AUD-USD. And again, let's just go down to, let's just go in the MT4 here. So if we look on the daily chart here again, there was a lot of bearish action here. Then it got very bullish, right? But the most recent action here, as you can see, is very bearish. So the bias on the daily chart here on AUD-USD is definitely bearish, okay? Now, when we pull up the 4-hour, right, we could see that there's really nothing here to contradict that, okay? We do have a situation here where we get, let's just zoom out on this here. We get a break of structure, you know, in through here. So we get like a change of character. But until this actually, you know, if this would decide to move higher and break this structure area here, then we would have a situation where we would have a change of trend on the 4-hour chart here. And that change would come too bullish. Although looking at it just like this, price action does look kind of bullish, right? But when you zoom out, you know, you're able to see that overall, there's nothing contradicting the bearish higher time frame on the daily chart. So we're going to stick with a bearish scenario on here. So we're looking obviously for a 4-hour area of interest. So we're going to mark up right here. We have this consolidation. We got a break of structure on the way down here when price moved through this area here. So we're going to use this banker candle right here. For some reason, I didn't mark it up last night, but I'm just going to mark that up. Then I'm going to add an alert right there. And then if price action moves up to there, right, we're just looking for a nice flagging back up to this area. And then our alert will go off. We'll drop down to the 1 hour chart and see if we can get a confirmation to take that trade. Right. And I go over that daily when these alerts come out. Okay, but that's what we're looking for here in AUD USD on the 4 hour time frame here. So the next one, CAD CAD Chef, again going into MT4. This one was a little bit harder, to determine here. We had a lot of bullish price action here, and then we get some bearish price action. Okay, we kind of get this structure. We kind of break structure right here in through this area here. We get a break of structure, a pullback, and then we get a second break of structure, which is a 2x2 on the way down. And then we actually get another one. So we actually get what we would call a 3x3, is we get another pullback and break of structure down here. So that's why we're going to say the bias on this is bearish. Okay. Even though when you look at it, it kind of looks kind of bullish to you, because the recent price action, the bias here on the recent price action is bearish. We drop down to the 4 hour, we're not going to get anything to contradict that, right? This obviously looks bearish as well. So we're only going to go with sales on CAD Chef. And we have this 4 hour area of interest marked up here with an alarm, right? So we're kind of, again, looking for price to just flag back up to there, set off our alarm. Then we drop down to the 1 hour time frame, look for a confirmation. Those confirmations are in the group like I showed you. If you go to the Forex Smart Money Trading Academy group, click on files, you can download this right here. Again, if you're not a member of the group, just send me a message so I can send you a link to join. Okay, so those confirmations are there, but I go over them daily in the group as these alerts come out. Okay, so that's what we're looking for there. Now, we also set another alert down here. And the reason for this is we're looking for a break of structure down here, because price may decide to just move further down. And if it does that, then it could leave a banker candle right up here somewhere. And so we would get an alert. Once we get an alert, we come in the trading view, make sure it's a trade alert, but not a break of structure alert like this would be. And then this tells us now that we can move our alarm down to here, because now we have a new 4 hour area of interest, because we got a break of structure on the way down. And then we would look for that to flag up to there and then take the trade down. So that's kind of what we're looking for here on CAD Chef. Okay. The next one is CAD-JPY. Again, this is the last one I'm going to jump into MT4 here to show you. CAD-JPY, very, very bullish on the daily chart, right? Daily price action is very bullish, right? If we pull up the 4 hour chart, there's nothing there to contradict that, right? We have this new high here. We do get a change of character here if we get a break of structure right here, which we get, but unless we get another pullback and another move lower to break this structure area here, we're still looking at a bullish bias on the H4 on the 4 hour chart. So we're going to stick with a bullish flag here on CAD-JPY, and we marked up this 4 hour area of interest all the way up here. And for some reason, so you could see here, this 4 hour candle right here, you mark up the open of the candle. So this area here has already been mitigated. You see, if I put that there, we see that we had a break of structure, and then these candles here came up and already mitigated it, right? You could see that right here. These wicks already came up and mitigated that. So there's no reason for price to do any reacting there. But we do have this area all the way up here, and we have this area right here. Now I'm actually going to move this down to here. For some reason, I don't have an alert on here. So I'm going to put the alert right there. And that's what we're going to look for. Now that's quite a ways away, so we may not get to that this week. But that's where our alert's going to be at. Now, again, when we come back in here, we could have a situation. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I have that marked up wrong. Wait, let me get rid of this here real fast. Actually, this is bullish, like we said. So we're looking for this to drop down here. So we have this 4-hour candle marked up all the way over here. Okay, so we had to go all the way back to August to find this 4-hour candle that hasn't been mitigated yet. Okay, so you can see this negative flag here. This is kind of like a negative flag, which tells you price may move up here in the near future before coming back down to here. So it may, do, let me just fix this here. Price may do something like this where it starts to move up here. Then it makes a move down here. We look for it to get to this area and then go up. Okay, so we have our alert set down here, and this here is nothing. We just got to get rid of that for some reason. Okay, we're gonna go like this. All right, there we go. Okay, the next one, CHFJPY. Okay, so this one, like we determined, this is bullish. So I'm not going to go back into MT4 anymore because you get the idea. I kind of show you 5 of them, and then you get the idea of what I'm looking at as far as the higher time frame trend. If you have any questions on that, just get in touch with me and I'll be glad to answer them. So right here on CHFJPY, this is bullish. So we were looking for a 4-hour area, but this candle here has already been mitigated. So what we did was we dropped down to the 1-hour chart on this one, and we found a 4-hour banker 1-hour banker candle right here. So we marked up this 1-hour area of interest. So we're looking for price to come down into that area. Since it's a 1-hour area, once that's hit, we may then drop down to the 30-minute to see if we can get a confirmation on that. So that's the only difference between the 4-hour area and the 1-hour area. When price hits the 4-hour area, we drop down one time frame to the 1-hour and look for confirmation. If it hits our 1-hour area, because we have the 1-hour area marked up, then we drop down one time frame on MT4, which ends up being the 30-minute chart, and we look for confirmation there. There are some times when we will look for a confirmation on the 30-minute chart from a 4-hour area as well. And there could be some times when we would drop all the way down to a 15-minute because we've hit a 1-hour area. But those are very few. I really don't like to trade on anything lower than 1 hour, but I will do the 30-minute if something presents itself. Okay, so that's that one. EURAUD is the next one. We have this bias on this is bearish for the week. So we have this 4-hour area of interest right here, right? We had this move down, break of structure right in through here, right? We had a move down, another break of structure. And they've already moved price back up through this area. So we're looking for it to come up now and flag up nicely to this area right here before going down, right? Next one is EURJPY. Now, by the way, the reason why all these other pairs here don't have a blue or red flag next to them is because when I did my trend analysis, like I just showed you, my bias analysis, the daily chart was going one way and the 4-hour chart was telling me something different, right? So like I said, I look at the daily chart to determine the higher time frame trend. And then I look at the 4-hour to make sure there's nothing there to contradict it. So on all these pairs right here, they're not marked up with the red or blue flag because when I looked at the daily chart, there was something on the 4-hour to contradict it. So let's see, let me just pull up EURCAD so maybe I could show you this. May not be able to find it here, but let's see. So this is the daily chart on EURCAD, and the daily chart here, the most recent price action kind of looks bullish here, right? So this is a big area of consolidation here. Then we get, what we get here is we get, let me just see if I can move some of these lines. When we look for break of structure, we only use the body of the candles, not the wicks. So we do get a break of structure here on the way up. I wouldn't consider this structure down here. This is just a consolidation. Yeah. This is really just, I consider structure up here. So I would still consider this bearish, but it's very close to turning bullish. When you look at the H4 though, you know, the most recent price action is bullish. See? So the daily we've determined is bearish, okay? Although it is close to turning bullish, okay? It is right now bearish. And so when we look at the H4 though, it's contradicting that. It's very bullish right now. So that's why, if you're wondering why, that's why these pairs do not have a blue or red flag next to them, because when I looked at the 4-hour chart, it contradicted the higher time frame trend on the daily. So we don't trade those pairs. We got 28 pairs here in this list that we look at. So we don't have to trade the ones that we don't want to. Okay, let's see what we got here now. So EURJPY is bearish. So we were looking for price to move down here, but these 4-hour candles here were all mitigated. So we could go down to here, but you see this candle right here, this was also mitigated by this wick here. So what we decided to do was, again, we had to drop down to the 1-hour chart, right? We do get a break of structure here. As this moves up, we have a consolidation. We get a break of structure right here. So that validates this banker candle right here on the 1-hour chart. And so that is now our area of interest. So we always look at the 4-hour here, but we mark that line up 1 hour so that we know that that's a 1-hour banker candle. And again, we're going to look for price just to flag down here nicely so that we can go, hopefully go up, right? EURNZD is the next one. This one we determined to be bearish. And right here, so we do get a break of structure. We have this area right here. You know, price comes down, break structure, and so we marked up this 4-hour banker candle right here. So we're going to look again for price to flag up to that area right there, right? And then once it does, our alert will go off. We'll drop down to the 1 hour. Well, of course, we'll come back to trading view here first, make sure it's a trade confirmation alert, not a trade alert, not a break of structure alert like you've seen on one of the other pairs there. And then we'll drop down, we'll go in MT4, drop down to the 1 hour. We'll turn our ATH indicator on. That's our proprietary indicator that you really need to have to confirm your trades. There are some other confirmations that you can take without the ATH, but I really stress that you use the ATH for your confirmations, especially if you're a beginner. So in order to get that, you have to be a customer of our community. So the first step, like I told you, is to try us out for a week for free, right? You can get access to all of our live training for the week for free. And you'll get access to our videos by Michael, where he shows you the only 2 trade setups you'll ever need to know: the box, the banker's box, and the signature pattern. And you'll get access to an exit manager indicator for free. Once you request your free week of training, you'll get access to our community free group called Discover a New Way. And there's a lot of information in there that you'll have access to for free. And you'll get access, like I said, to the to the free training for 1 week. Now, if you like what you see, what you could do is you could become a member of our community by joining the company we're with. And once you do that, they offer a 7-day money back guarantee. So essentially you can try us out for a week for free. Then you can join our community by becoming a customer of the company that we're with. You'll then get access to all of our training, our ATH indicator, our ATH quick turn indicator, which is a little bit different. All of the training the company offers as well. And you can try that all out for another 7 days. And if you say, hey, this just isn't for me, then you can request a refund from the company and get your money back and just go, we could just go our separate ways. But it's very good for you to take advantage of this. Now, by the way, I know a lot of people like to wait when they get here in the November, December, they like to wait till January to start something new. But on December 6th, the price to join our community is going to go up by $50. So right now, if you join before December 6th, you can actually save $50. So you can wait till next year if you want to, right? But you can save $50 by getting started now. And you can get through the training and you can be on your way to start taking your demo trades, and you can just be closer to trading live by the time 2023 comes around. Okay, so we got a couple more pairs here, actually 3 more to go over. GBP-CAD. This one, we determined the trend to be bullish, I'm sorry. And we have this consolidation area here. We have a blast out of that. This is like a banker's box here. You can learn about this in the video that Michael does, but that's kind of your consolidation area right there. Price blast out of that. We call that a banker's box strategy. It leaves behind this banker candle right here, the red one, the last down candle before the up move. So that's what we're going to wait for price to flag back into that area, right? And then we'll look for confirmation to take it up, or sometimes it just keeps moving down and they go for another area. There's also another banker candle down here, and there's another banker candle down here. So that's why when it gets to this area of interest, we wait for a confirmation, and that's where our ATH indicator is so important. Now, there are other indications that you can use. There's other things you can use, and I go over all that daily when these alerts come out. And all that stuff is right here in the Smart Money Trading Plan rules right here. Okay, so make sure you're a member of that group so that you can get that information. Okay, and like I said, there are some other confirmations you can use that you don't have to pay for. You don't have to become a customer of our community to get it. But really, if you're brand new, I suggest you get that ATH. I suggest you use the ATH for confirmation, because that really gives you the best chance of winning the trade. We also have our ATH quick turn strategy, which is a little bit different strategy. We just released that several weeks ago, about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And using this strategy, you can actually start trading, just after watching a couple videos, because you don't really need the smart money education in order to use that indicator. So I did a training on that. Let me see here where I can find it. Oh, I think I put that on my timeline, right? So I did some training on that yesterday, right? This is on my timeline right underneath this live video here. ATH quick turn training, right? The video here, right? This video down here shows you how to set up your charts and trading view for the ATH quick turn trading. So I'm not going to go over that here in this weekly outlook, because this is our smart money technique. But I just want to let you know that you could get started with our ATH quick turn indicator. And actually, after watching a couple videos, you can start taking demo trades right away. And maybe by 2023, you could start trading on your live account after you complete about 50 demo trades using the indicator. So let's get through here, though. The next one's GBP-JPY. This one, again, bullish. On the 4-hour chart here, we're trying to identify let's see here. Actually, if you look at this, here's a 4-hour consolidation box right here. We got a 4-hour banker candle right here, which looks like it was already mitigated, but actually we never got a break of structure. So in order for this candle to get mitigated, you first need a break of structure. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually use this. Just get out of here real fast. We're actually going to mark up was still drawing. My tool was still drawing here. We're actually going to mark up this 4-hour banker candle right here, because you see this wick comes down into that area, but you didn't have a break of structure. So the first thing we need is for this to break structure and then come back down, which it almost hits it right here, but it doesn't quite hit it. So we're going to mark up this candle right here, and we're going to put an alert on here. Okay. And so we're going to look for what price action to flag back down to here, and then look for a confirmation to take this trade up, right? And the last one's NZDJPY, right? This is bullish. Again, we had this recent price action here on the 4-hour chart. It moves up here, breaks this structure right here. So that validates this banker candle right here, the red one. It's a nice, fairly big candle, and it has a nice engulfing candle after it. So this is a very logical area. But this right here is also a logical area. See? So, right? Actually, it would be right here, this little, oh wait, I'm sorry, the red candle right here. This is actually a logical area too. So price may decide, they may decide to come down into this area here, and then they may keep going to this area down here. That's why we wait for a confirmation before we take the trade back up. Okay? Because sometimes we're not sure what area they're going to go to, right? So we wait for price to show its hand. And then once it does, we get a confirmation on a lower time frame, and then we take the trade. Okay, so that's the weekly outlook for this week, for the week beginning 11/21/22. Of course, the Forex market will open later today. We're Sunday, 11/20. It will open later today at 5 p.m. Eastern time, or maybe it's 4 now because of the daylight savings time. I'm not exactly sure. I get a little confused about that. We just turned the clocks back. I believe it was a couple weeks ago. So maybe it's 4 p.m. Eastern time instead of 5. But I'll find out about that today, and then I'll know the answer to that. But anyway, and that's obviously, the weekly outlook for the week beginning Monday, 11/21/22. So if you have any questions on this, make sure you get in touch with me. If you need your free week of training, make sure you get in touch with me so I can get you set up starting tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern time. It's probably going to be a short week next week, so I can get you started next week, and then also put you on for the week after that as well. So you actually get about a week and a half of free training. And again, if you can't make those live sessions at 12 p.m. Eastern time, I'll give you access to the recordings as well. If you need to join the group, if you want to see how these trade alerts come out here, I go live in the group once they come out, Forex Smart Money Trading Academy group. So make sure, if you're not a member of that, you send me a message so I send you a link to join that. And when you click on the link to join, you got to answer the questions. You don't have to really answer all of them, but you got to make an effort to answer the questions. Otherwise, the software that I use will just automatically decline your request to join. And I don't even see it. So make sure you do that today. Send me a message if you want your free week of training. Send me a message if you want to join the group. If you want more information on our new strategy, right, which doesn't require the smart money education, the smart money techniques and strategies and education, then just look below here in my timeline, and you'll see the 2 videos I did last night right here. This shows you how to set up your chart, and this shows you the training. But of course, you do need our proprietary indicator, our ATH quick turn indicator, in order to do this. But like I'm telling you, you can try us out for 7 days for free. You can then join the community, try everything out for 7 days, including our indicator, to see if it actually works, which we know it works, but you can try it out basically for 7 days. And if you don't like it, or if it's just not for you, you can cancel, get your money back, and no harm, no foul. But believe me, you're going to like it. Anyway, Bill Soriano, and I will be live this week when the alerts come out. If any alerts come out today, I'll come on live later on today in the group, Forex Smart Money Trading Academy. Other than that, I'll probably see you on Monday. And have a great week. Have a great Thanksgiving as well.